So the next big data is Jerome Powell's speech. I think this is going to be one of the most anticipated, most important speeches that he gives for the entire year. And, it will give us some insight into where interest rates are going to be for the rest of the year. And I think that's really important. And it's reflecting in gold, actually. You can see this right now. Gold's been moving since February 14th in a really aggressive way, almost no pullbacks. And I think that it's potentially all coming down to what's going to be said here. So if price decides to continue pushing up, making new highs or even retesting the ones that it had earlier today or yesterday, then I think that there's going to be a pretty substantial pullback of 300 to 700 pips. If price has a pullback here and continues to push down just before the data, then there's a good chance that a continuation could happen during that speech or just after. Okay, so it's all about what happens the last few hours before that speech takes place. Okay, so I'm actually targeting the pound CAD. I think that this is a much better play, and it makes a lot more sense from a technical standpoint, since gold is in no man's land right now. No support and resistance since it's been making new highs. But the pound CAD is in a really good spot. That makes a lot of sense from a technical and potentially from a fundamental standpoint, since tomorrow the bank CAD rate is coming out. And this fundamental could also trigger the technical at the same time, which could cause a pretty massive pullback at the 1.73 level. Okay, so the reason why this level is so substantial. If you scroll back, you can see that it was hit once back in November and had a substantial pullback of like 500 to 800 pips, I think. That was about 500 pips. Okay, so that's the first touch. The second one here was back in August, and that was an even bigger move from that point. All right, and you can actually even see in this one here that we're currently at this line, this top, second to the top solid line, and we haven't touched this one yet. And there's two little lines at the top. So that's right above 1.73. It's like 1.73515. So that, I think that is going to be the top of the move. And you also see the same level that was hit here, and these same two levels at the top. So big substantial move there, big substantial move there. So this happened 1, 2, and also 3 times in the past, and they all were substantial moves. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the one that causes it to finally break through that, but I do know that price has had substantial pullbacks from that place, and there has been a good amount of time in between since that level has been touched. So I think that there's a good chance that since it's been quite a few months, that we could still have a pretty substantial move from that level. So zooming out a bit, I think that the likely scenario here is we had a big pullback here, pullback. I think that is a pullback to this level from this point. And, that would be, let's see, about 300 pip move on the downside. You can see where my take profit is. It's not 300 pips, but it's possible that depending on how aggressive this move is, and if I get what I want, then I might extend my take profit to this level. So about 300 pips, which would be a substantial take for me. And it could mean holding this potential trade for a number of days or weeks. But I think this is going to be one of the biggest plays that I make of the year. And it happens to be at a pretty crucial time too, where I'm down 25% on my account. And this play is coming at a really good time, and it should give me the potential to recover a good amount of my losses if it plays out the way that I'm anticipating. Now, just because it's touched this level multiple times in the past doesn't mean that it will again. So it's possible that I could take a deeper loss here. And I hope it's not too deep, and we'll see. But I think that this play from a technical and fundamental standpoint is a really good one. So we'll see how this plays out. I think that likely scenario here is price will range in here. So potentially range and likely make new highs. And I think that it could touch this 1.73, this last heavy level of resistance and the top of the move is just above that at 1.73, and that's where I have my last pending order set, just in case that price does decide to push up just before the data releases, and then we have a pretty big pullback. So the higher it moves, the better. So I would rather this push up and trigger more orders at this point than actually move down. But I think that moving down is fine too, especially if it moves down and it's still within this level, or this level 4 right here. If it moves down this much, I'm okay with that. But I would much rather it move up just before that data. All right, so I think this is the play that I'm working with. And again, I think it could be a pretty substantial recover trade on my account if it works out. I also have a hedge going on the NASDAQ 100. Some of you copier traders probably didn't get this, but this was a rejection candle right below these two levels of support and resistance. I think that price has a good chance of pushing through and maybe even contesting or retesting this last high before Jerome Powell speaks. All right, let's see how this works out.